If there's one thing that people love about Mars Attacks, it's just how gory and gruesome and weird it is. So in this video, we thought we'd talk through the first attempt at our research system and how we felt it wasn't quite leaning into that enough, and what we've been working on over the last couple of months to fix it. The research system is a core element of a lot of simulation games and is a really fun gameplay loop to work through. So you start relatively simple and then introduce complexity by unlocking cooler and cooler stuff as you progress. For Mars Attacks specifically, it was a great opportunity to layer in some of the Martian research and human experimentation from the IP. And in our first implementation, we had the player building observation posts within human enclosures, which we'll have within the park anyway, and then recruiting a scientist to that observation post who would then passively generate research points as time went on. We felt that this was a relatively simple solution that fit in nicely with some of the other gameplay mechanics, but on reflection, didn't really feel that it was making enough of the gruesome and gory nature of the IP. We could do better.
Yeah, that's one fine-looking barbecue pit. Why doesn't mine look like that?
We ran the first alpha playtest for the game a couple of months ago, and it was really when collecting people's feedback that we realized that people wanted more of the darkness and gore from the IP, and we hadn't really made the most of that. And also, there's a challenge with the research system that it was just too passive, and you could essentially just have it on researching something in the background without making intentional decisions. So we decided to go back to the drawing board with the feature, and also at the same time reach out to the community for ideas and suggestions in how we could push this further.
I hope we're going to have some gratuitous sex and violence.
There are several elements that we've been implementing over the last couple of months, and the first is putting the gory human experimentation visuals front and center. We started with ideas from the community and combined it with going back to the original cards and looking at, is there anything in there that we could extrapolate in terms of human experimentation or torture or weaponry and really integrate it into the game. One example of this is durability testing, where the little drones will flip and twist a human to test how stretchy they are. Another example is the incineration ray, where a scientist will test how resistant to a fire beam humans are, and the answer is not very. And finally, one of the most popular suggestions is animal splicing, where you can take a human's head and replace it with a dog. One thing we had to consider when converting things from community suggestions or the cards was how it would be visible from the player's perspective. So we tried to keep things relatively big, chunky, and a large device that the player could see from a far distance. But before we continue, a quick word from today's sponsor, Visit Mars. Have you seen and done everything there is to do on boring old Earth? I know I have. That's why I'm delighted that Visit Mars chose to sponsor today's video. Martian technology offers a level of luxury our primitive human brains can scarcely imagine. All human guests will find themselves in tailor-made environments catering to their every physical need, monitored by top Martian scientists 25 hours a day. You'll never want to leave. I thought I'd seen it all, but thanks to Visit Mars, I've witnessed horrors beyond my comprehension. And now you can too. Check the link in the description to book your visit to Mars today. And now, back to the video. In addition to the visuals, we also changed up how gameplay works around research. So as before, you build an observation post in the enclosure and then hire a scientist to work in it. But now, instead of it being passive, you have to actively conduct a specific experiment to unlock something, and that might have unintended consequences on the happiness of the human that's being experimented on. You can have different experiments running concurrently in different enclosures, but by over-experimenting on humans, you risk making them super unhappy and having them break out and cause chaos. And as a player, you're going to have to make decisions on how risky you want to play in order to get cooler stuff, while also balancing the human happiness that then entertains guests and keeps them within their enclosures.
He's my prisoner. I will decide his fate.
This learning to explore more of the IP and lean into the darkness more is really something that we're taking and trying to apply to every element of the game going forward. We spent so long getting the fundamentals of a park builder in place for the alpha playtest that now we have player feedback and can integrate more ideas. We're really focusing on differentiating the game and making it something unique, and also forcing the player to become the devious mad scientist experimenting on humans that we all know from Mars Attacks. Thanks so much to everybody who's dropped a comment in one of our videos, or on Reddit, or on our Discord. We really do read them and try and integrate as many as we can into the game. If you've been following our videos, you know that we run a competition, so if this is you, then get in touch and we will give you a Steam key for when the game releases later this year. If you'd like to enter yourself, all you need to do is be a subscriber to the channel and drop a comment down below. If you've got any other ideas of how we can integrate the IP more and lean into that darkness, then please let us know. Thanks so much for watching, and if you'd like to see more about the commercials of our first game, This Means Warp, then check out this video.